evening, everybody. Welcome to Meyer Studio Sketch Club. My name is Jason Meyer, and tonight we're going to begin to switch gears just a little bit. So we're going to have Sundays remain our kind of fun sketch time to come and goof around. But Tuesday this week and beginning next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, the Sketch Club's going to be more geared for the students. And so it'll be a little bit more kind of to the point. You're welcome to sit in and watch, as always, but there may be a bit of teaching going on. So speaking of some great artists, Miss Shakti and Ellie are here. Hello, hello, hello. Deb Kinney, good to see and hear from you. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing really well. And Miss Susan, good, good, good. All right, guys, so tonight what we're going to do is I've got a project that I've literally been working on for years and years. I've done a couple little quick sketches and paintings of it, and I'd like to do kind of a big finished piece of it. And I just never quite worked out the composition and the color scheme. I've got the general idea. So tonight I'm going to share with you my start, at least for 30 minutes, of working out that composition and what I do. I will be working from two separate reference photos and kind of taking those ideas and marrying them together. All right, so if we're good to go, I think we should get started. All right, guys, let's sketch. So there's reference number one, and this is towards the end of our street. This is known as Laguna Lake, and then what you're seeing, those hills, those mountains, are ancient volcanoes that have been extinct for millions of years, but they're known as the Sisters. The comment says 7 sisters, there's 9, maybe even 11, I kind of forget, it's been a while, but this valley leads right down to the ocean. And then, to top this all off, I'd like to have that little girl there looking down and over that valley. Okay, the dimensions that I have, I've got a nice big canvas, and it's 18 inches by 48 inches, right? So that comes out to be a 1 by 2.6 dimension. That's a little bit strange. And so what I've got marked off here is 4.5, a little bit more than 4.5 inches by 12 inches. And if I did my math right, and there's a chance I did not, I could be off. But let's assume that's right and get started. And at this point, this is more kind of about the idea, so if I've missed by a tiny bit, it's not going to be such a big deal. Okay? Just because it's so early in the process. All right, let's get going. So what I'd like to do is put Izzy on this end, down here, and then as she's looking across, I want the setting sunset over here, the colors, and I'd like to work our way. Actually, you don't see, there's a tree that's really important in here that you don't see. Oof, I didn't realize that. So let me share this with you guys, just so you don't think it comes out of nowhere. So this is one of the sketches I've done, and then as you can see, her eyesight, one of the things that stops it is there's a nice big tree right there, and that will be part of the composition. You just catch the edge of it there with Izzy, and then if you look at the left side, you can see it way back there in the distance, but you're not going to be able to make anything out there. But as always, this is going to be more of an invention than anything, so I'm not really worried exactly how that tree looks. All right, so there we go. So we're going to have Izzy And then at some point around here, we'll have the tree, right? Kind of holding us, keeping us from just flying off of there. And then all through this valley, I want those mountains to go from big to small, right? Really give a sense of distance all the way through here. And then where this picture was actually taking is we're standing on a dock right on the water. But she could be standing on the shore or whatever. One of the big decisions is how high up is that water going to go? Okay? What is that water? And then also the direction. So as she was looking across here, the idea was to have this go back too. That could be very aggressive. But, hear me out. Hear me out. What if we had the lightest light kind of setting sun right over here? And from here, so our tree would be up here. Could have it going off there. Then our mountains working through the distance. I don't know, maybe Izzy's eye level. Oof. That would be a challenge there. Perhaps Izzy's collar. And then we can have reeds or something going off like that, right? So that would be one idea, is a radial design off of this nondescript point. Okay, can you guys see that? Does that make sense to you guys? I hope so. I know we're still a little bit imaginary here, but like that diagonal, I would get that situated, then I would build my mountains down the valley off of that diagonal. So what if we just said, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Then another big question we have here, and I think I do, you know, I would like her, how big is are we gonna represent her? What is her size? Feels a little crowded at the top to me. Feels a little crowded. Do I want her up that high? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like maybe. But see, by doing that, I get an idea of what's going on. Maybe we'll move the top of her head down a little bit, but also perhaps make her head a bit bigger. So if she's there, basic form. Okay, and this could be a little abrupt, but we can always have a few reeds or something up here, kind of breaking this up. So what if that's something like that? And so if she's looking straight across, and that's going to make our invisible radial about right there. And the other thing is, yeah, so those mountains. We want those mountains like that. And then where do we want those reeds coming out of? Maybe down there, so that this would be mountain, this would be where the reeds meet the water, so all of this would be land. We're gonna have a few things going on here, but basically all land. She broke that just a little bit. Then again, I'm gonna put those reeds somewhere back like that. And I like the idea of some reeds and stuff here. Her kind of even being in it. Being in it and observing it. I like it, I like it, I like it. Alright, and then back here, we don't necessarily want these too tall, but they need to be tall enough to we can go from something to nothing, and we should probably put that around the radial too. So maybe the reeds. Could be something like that. And again, we don't have to go directly back there. It's just got to feel like that generally. Right, so what I'm doing is we've got an upright plane, reeds sticking out of the water. Then we've got a flat plane working across the water. Then the reeds poke up, they're vertical again. Then after the reeds, we'll have some horizontal grass. I even plan on putting some other small bunches of trees and stuff as darks through here. Right? Probably even some dark trees right through here. So those will be a dark but a little bit distant. So remember, this is pattern, so we're going darker here, lighter, darker, lighter, darker, and then we'll get into quote unquote gray with the mountains. So come and go, but if this is the tallest one there, then when we get to our next mountain, it can only be that tall. And as we go down, this one's a little bit smaller here. Little brother, little sister. Down like that. And then our last one, where's our last one going to be? Something like that down there, right? So we'll follow that, and then that gives us room for our tree, which is on the ocean side. on the ocean side. Down by the water though, like if those trees are back like there, the base is going to be further up, and then the base of this tree, I'm going to keep some here somewhere. So where do I want that? Where do I want it, and how big do I want it? Well, you've already answered that, how big you want it, right? Because we've got this radial. So the question is where? Well, we don't want it covering up this. I think we want a little break from that. Have some nice negative shapes in here that help hold the eye. I don't know. I'm not. I'm a little worried about that. And the reason why is it's just so fast, right? We're going to read our paintings from left to right in this scenario. So we'll just have to make sure that there's enough things to slow our pace down so we're not done quick fast. One of the ways we're going to do that is we're going to go from this distance way back into space. And then we're going to have them slowing down by looking at these mountains, these trees, these mountain shapes. And then we'll have some trees and stuff here, which will be a little bit lower as well. That'll isolate her skin tone, but we'll let some of that skin come right into some lit grass or something right there. And then our larger reeds will be here. And as I do this, rather than working straight, I'm going to work on straights. So let's get one straight that kind of establishes, sets us up here, and then let's step back. And then step back, maybe a little bit further for a short time, then we could step forward again, but further back from that. Right, we want different links, mostly from bigger to smaller as we move back. But by not putting diagonals there, that's going to give us the stability that we need. Right? If we don't have these horizontals grounding us, we're not going to have the stability. So the same on these trees wherever they go. And we know all of this is going to be somewhat dark. Yeah, I forgot to set my timer. Oh, hey Randy, glad you made it. Changing things up just a little bit more of lessons and teaching tonight. But we're putting together a final composition of Izzy from these two paintings, these two reference photos. And other reference photos and paintings I've done before, but we can't fit all that onto a screen. Doesn't work for a live stream. Right, we can keep that coming forward by even making those reeds go up like that. That'll join in with this dark shape. Right, and then we like those reeds to join into, so it's one continuous dark down here. And what's going to happen as we step back, these reeds are going to get smaller and smaller. So these be a bit, right? But see, I'm just seeing verticals. I'm not trying to get fancy because I want to see big pieces and see if the big pieces are working. And if not, then let's move them while they're simple big pieces before you've got 37,000 negative shapes in here. All right, because that's gonna be hard to move, man. It's gonna be hard to move. Oof, oof, and oof. Just oof, straight up oof. So don't oof yourself. Don't oof yourself. Give yourself a chance to see it. To see it. All right, we'll have her hair hanging down here too. Again, I'm not worried about making her a beautiful little girl right now. I'm just wondering where all the big pieces are going to go and how big they're going to be. What are my angles? Again, get smaller, smaller, and lighter, lighter as we go back. And then we're going to make it back here eventually to our tree. Huge, sprawling, complex. One tree, but multiple trees. Okay, we can end right there, and then we'll have the kind of the glowing color of our sunset right over here. And now that I'm over here, I'm thinking, do we want to go up to the sky? Do we? I kind of like her. Maybe if the sunset was just a little bit lower than her eye level. So as we work our way across, we're working a gradual up to her rather than just straight across. Can you guys see that? Little things like this, especially on something this long, is really going to matter. Right? So if we go straight across here, that's going to be pretty fast. But even if we could drop it down like that, that feels a bit better to me. That feels a bit better to me. So we don't want to get her head too high, but we might even just move her eyes up a little bit. Something like that. Mama never told me there'd be reference photos like this. Nobody ever told me. Nobody ever told me. And then it's just so that this isn't an isolated shape. What are we going to do so that's not an isolated dark? We don't want isolated darks. We got a connection. We need family. Family. Well, if this is a nice little glow, and we go, let's have a nice little break. Again, don't let them come right down here. So we could join some of those darks. And then that's going to help them skip through some of these sky holes that we're going to have in here. All right, so this will be a nice hold. We'll have reeds, we'll have sky holes, we've got sunset colors. My gosh, what else could you possibly want? Come on. It's everything and the kitchen sink. How are we doing? 24. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Able to find us. Oh, man. Well, we're glad you're here, Sue. We're glad you are here. And we are going to be making some changes coming up. So Sketch Club, this Sketch Club where I'm really teaching and stuff will be moved to the school, hopefully in the next month or two. And then starting in August, our classes will go from 1-month classes. It's going to go to a 3-month class. So our August class will actually be from August, September, and October. And we'll go through a full process of taking a reference, composing a piece from it, working out the design, studying the color, deciding on the color scheme and the color setup, as well as then spending hopefully about a month, 3 weeks, executing the painting. All right, so we're just moving along a little bit. You guys are all invited to come, but if you're not already and this sort of stuff interests you, make sure you go online to our online school, and you can get a register for a free account. If you register just with your email, you make up your password. That's all that's required. You don't have to put any credit card information or anything like that. And then you'll make sure that when our switch does happen, you're in the loop. You know what's happening. And of course, since this is closer, this is going to be dark. Now I'm going to want to save some nice negative shapes up here too. Look, we have negative shapes in here. We have negative shapes around here. That's going to give us a nice lock. Right? I kind of like doing it like that, but do I want just a straight line? What would be better than just a straight line of negative shapes? Well, what if those negative shapes formed a small triangle? Right? Then you're going to have something really nice and stable, so that when you have all this pressure coming from both sides, it can withstand. It can be stable. So as I got my negative shapes up here, I'm going to make sure to come out wider and save a couple of negative shapes. Come out wider on this side and make sure I've got some negative shapes. Oh, you negative shapes, you. Don't be such a negative shape. Negative shapes are actually very useful for painters in particular. And by that I mean people who work and think in the visual arts in mass rather than line. All right, guys, it looks like we're coming up on the end of our 30 minutes. Let me try to get a couple of negative shapes in here. See if we can bring that point home. And when you're working in mass, these negative shapes are where the drawing actually happens. Right? And so by doing these negative shapes like that, what that allows us to do is to let the edges be a little softer, right? Without losing the structure of our work, because we've got such excelente negative shapes that they keep us structurally sound, even when some of our exterior edges get soft. You know, and part of painting is we want to play some of those silhouettes, kind of hard, definite edges, against those softer, lost things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think for tonight we'll have to leave it here. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about it, both the students and any non-student. Did you find this helpful? I know a couple of you came in late, so you didn't get the full impact. But hopefully it made sense. We worked on exactly where we want Izzy and about how big we want. We worked on our overall design with a sunset happening right about over here. A little bit below, we decided, her eye level. So that may mean we have to lower this tree and stuff down this way so that the sun can be down there low enough. Right? Maybe our last has to be right there. Who knows? But I'll continue to work, and you guys might see this again from time to time. I'm probably going to be working on it for quite a long time on and off, probably a matter of years actually, so I'm sure you'll see it again. And in the meantime, It was great having you guys here. Thank you for all your attention. Hope some of you guys, Deb Kinney, hope you're well. Randy, I hope it's good. Sue, it'll be recorded and I'll be posting to YouTube after this. It'll take probably about an hour or so to get up on YouTube, but it'll be there after that. All right, let's see. Shakti says, I really like working on these very challenging compositions. Yeah, and the challenging, it's all about simplicity. A simple value pattern. A simple value pattern. Thank you, Mr. Randy. The girls miss you. They're doing some last minute thing with Izzy. Her last day of 6th grade is tomorrow. So they're doing a little virtual bingo tonight. But I'll tell them you said hi. I know that they said hi. Tomorrow morning, we're doing mix-alongs, color mixing. You'll be seeing my palette. I'll be giving you instructions. So join us back here, back on YouTube at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for some color mixing exercises. Make sure to be ready to mix some exercise and we'll mix then. All right, guys. Good night.